Hey everybody, Paddy here. Now, thank you so much for watching and listening to TFN, which of course stands for the Effin News. Now, our great Kiwi in this ep is Mark Inman, who just won't stop fighting for his brother, lost in the Whakaari White Island eruption. He's got big news for us with the 5-year anniversary coming right up. Now, today's good Kiwi is giving away free period products at one of New Zealand's big corporates. And after that, what are Incredibles? Well, they're an idea from this week's Brainy Kiwi that will make you go, why didn't I think of that? And there's a man in Invercargill who this week is getting a tattoo. How good is that? Well, it's a tattoo of my face, so I'm not actually sure how good that is at all. Now, more on that and video and photos coming up. Right, let's get into it. The whole country knows who Mark Inman is, and he is one of our great Kiwis. He never wanted to be one. When the tragedy struck at White Island, Mark's brother Hayden Marshall Inman was killed. Mark had to speak to all of us, ask questions that needed to be asked, as Hayden's body was never found. Now, 5 years later, yes, it is 5 years since Whakaari, and so much has happened, but the memory of the eruption is still raw. The community is planning a memorial to be built at Whakatane Heads. It'll be a place where people can remember, heal, gather, celebrate, and mourn the tragedy for generations to come. It will cost a lot of money, so Mark is helping lead the fundraising. Hi Mark, thank you for joining me. Now, in the immediate aftermath of what happened at Whakaari, you and I went up in a helicopter and had a look around. It was an incredibly intense experience for me personally. I'll never forget it. What was it like for you? Because we were effectively up there looking for your brother Hayden.
Yeah, there's a bunch of mixed emotions there, Paddy? It's sort of one of those flights that you'd never ever want to take. But it's a flight I've done many a time, but for other reasons. So it was a tough day that day.
Yeah, and what are your memories of it to take you back 5 years back? It was...
Yeah, my memories of that is the what ifs and the wondering what could have been done differently. And in that aftermath, how could we have moved things forward a little bit quicker? If the helicopter pilots weren't stopped, we wouldn't be taking that flight. So that's one of the one if, what if you want to say one if that the helicopter pilots hadn't have been stopped, then you and I would have met, but we wouldn't have been flying over the island.
Yeah, and how have the last 5 years been? Because one of the big things for your family is that obviously you've never found Hayden's body.
Yeah, it's been tough. But I guess what you've got to do in a time of loss and grief and moving forward is find a positive channel to channel your energies to move forward and to get some closure. And we've done that in a different way, I guess. And one of those things is we've created a golf tournament over the last 4 years that's raised over 160K for the first responders, people like the Fire Brigade, the Coast Guard, Middlewell Burns Unit, St. John. So we've tried to build an environment around ourselves of healing.
Yeah, and we'll come to how you're doing that and your plans for a bigger fundraiser, a concert, and also for an area to remember those lost at Whakaari. But first, there has been a court case this year. What's your take on it and where that all ended up?
Yeah, it all ended up nowhere really. I mean, end of the day, no amount of money is going to bring anybody home, and no amount of blame is going to change what took place that day. I think by the time you drag the families through the courts, WorkSafe trying to attribute blame to someone, that money itself could have been better spent in the sense of figures I've heard of up to $15 million worth of funding into that whole scenario. That could have gone to the first responders and helped them be better prepared for the next tragic incident that could have happened in New Zealand. So I think, hand on my heart, that money could have gone in better places.
Well, so you think that the money spent on the court case over Whakaari was wasted?
Yeah, I think so. Personally, I think nobody took anybody out there to injure or harm or kill them. It was a tourist adventure that was widely recognised around the world. Whakaari is a beautiful place. It was a tragic day, but nobody took anybody out there to hurt them or harm them.
And coming back to your brother Hayden, and the fact that he's never been found, does that make remembering him and getting that closure difficult for you and your family?
Yeah, it's always hard. I mean, you always wonder the what ifs, or you never ever had that chance to say goodbye. So it is a tough one. Yeah, it really is. But like I said, he was a fun-loving guy. He used to have a lot of fun. He enjoyed himself, and he'd do quirky things. So I guess part of the moving forward for our family has been around how do we recreate that, or how do you hold on to those memories?
Yeah, and do you go down and look out and?
Yeah, so we built a chair. I built a seat out of wakeboards. So something unique and different again. We've put that on the beachfront at Ahopee Beach, right out front of Dad's house, and we sit out there and you can look at the island. You know, look at Whakaari, and Dad goes down there on the 9th every month. So you have those quirky little moments that you think you're going to let go, but sometimes you don't.
And what do you think when you're there? What's your honest thought inside your heart about your brother when you sit and look out towards that island?
My honest thoughts with my brother is, you just wish you could see him again and just say hi. And it's probably more around the nieces and nephews that miss out.
Your kids?
Yeah, my kids, my sister's kids. That's a challenging part, is really the time they've missed out. That's what I think about.
Something that I think is amazing about you, Mark, is the way that you've spoken up for other people involved. You know, not just for your brother, but you've spoken up for the chopper pilots that wanted to get out there, for the first responders, for everyone. Where did that sort of come from, that need to lead?
I don't know. I think being a natural leader sometimes helps, but also being a community man is what it's about, and you fight for your community. And Ahopee Whakatane community is huge, and being able to back them and support them is crucial. And you've got to have a voice, and you've got to have someone that's going to drive that. Because if they don't get recognised, who's going to recognise them? It's a selfless job, and some of the things they saw and smelt and dealt with, they should never have had to deal with, and they'll never forget. So if we can do a little bit, just to help them move forward, then that's what we do.
And you're doing something big. You want to create a memorial.
Yeah.
Tell me about that. How big will it be? How much money is required? Where's it going to go?
Yeah, so I guess we, as a community board in Whakatane Ahopee, come up with the idea of a memorial in town, and we searched high and low for an area for where we could place this memorial, and we've settled with the Whakatane heads, being probably the most appropriate point, because that's the first touch of land that the victims came home to. It's the first point of land, I guess, that the White Island Tours came and left from. So that's, I guess, significant in that. And also you can see the island from there too. You can see Whakaari from the Whakatane head. So those are a couple of two unique things that we sort of thought about when we're trying to put this memorial in place. And I guess the dream or the concept behind it, or the reason why, is to be able to have a focal point or an area for those as a community that were affected to go and sit and reflect.
And what will it look like? What's the design like? You can't release the design just yet because you've got to take it to the families, but give us a rough idea. So
I guess it's shaped in a kuro shape. There's some bubbles connected to it to sort of, I guess, significance to the water. There's 23 shapes in amongst it. There was 22 people that passed away, but the 23rd one is based around the first responders and the community, because it's important that they're recognised. It's we've all, like I said earlier, we've got our own private places that we remember our loved ones that we lost. But for those that were affected, which were many in the community, it's important to have an area that they can go and sit and reflect. And
you're having a concert, which is going to be cool, but you're also auctioning off something cool that we've got here with us. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so we've got Whakaari Waiata, which is an outdoor concert on a Hopi Beach golf links. It's going to be epic, I hope. You know, we've got Joel Shadbolt from LAB, you've got Brad, Fran and Stu and Tate Cora, you know, you've got Macy Ricker. So we've got some big names in New Zealand music coming along, and they've donated their time to help for the cause. And then we've got the Moondog from Valkyrie.
Yeah, the Moondog.
The Moondog.
Yeah, the Moondog. So it's an e-bike, but it's not, you know, it's a cool e-bike.
Yeah, it's a cool e-bike, and it's been custom painted by Tamaiti.
Wow.
So he was a big supporter of ours in the second Whakaari golf tournament, and he did a big piece of artwork, and it was amazing. So he's jumped on board again to help support the local kaupapa. So
Yeah, and I've had a ride on this, and it's pretty hectic.
Yeah.
I might put a bit on it. And finally, you know, to draw on the memory of your brother Hayden Marshall Inman, the need for closure and the need to provide somewhere for people is obviously really important to you in leadership. What lesson from losing your brother the way that you did do you have for other Kiwis?
I think it's important for other Kiwis to remember in these tragic moments when you've got to be able to move forward, and you've got to be able to do that in a positive way. So as a community now, we gather on the first Friday, or the closest Friday to the 9th, for a golf tournament to be able to raise money for the community. But it's not so much about the raising of the money, it's about ensuring that you come together as mates, and friends and family, and as a community, just to check in on each other and just say hi, and then give each other a hug, have a cold beer, or whatever it is, you know, and have some fun. Like the golf tournament itself is full of fun activities out on the golf course. It's not just about the golf, you know, that's the vehicle to bring everybody together, but it's about remembering and reconnecting each year as a community.
So your advice to other Kiwis is, even in the face of losing someone you love in a disaster, try and find some positivity? You've
got to find some positivity. You know, you just beat yourself up otherwise, and you can't always go back and dwell on the past and ask what ifs. You've got to, I believe, you've got to look forward and what can we do better? What can we change, and how can we help a community continue to grow and be resilient?
And this monument will be part of that.
And that will be part of it. 100% it will be.
Mark Inman, you're a great Kiwi for everything you've done, looking for your brother and standing up for your community.
Thank you, Petty.
Thanks, mate. Now, if you want to help Mark raise money for the memorial, you can get tickets for the concert, or you can get involved in the bike auction, actually. Go to whakaariwaiata.co.nz. Now, the bike auction won't be up for a few days because TradeMe can only start the auction 10 days out, but keep an eye on that if you want that bike. Okay, my how good today is quite a strange yarn. So I'm on tour of New Zealand starting this week, and I will be met when I get to Invercargill by a guy called Jason, who has just got a tattoo of me on his body. How good is that? Or how bad is it actually? I don't actually know. I don't even want my face on my head sometimes, and I haven't got a choice about it. But this guy has just got it on his arm voluntarily today. Now, unbelievably, this is the 4th tattoo of me in existence. The first one was back in 2017 when a Canterbury truck driver got one of me on his shin with my face saying, "I'm the effing news." The second one was back in 2021 on the thigh of a Whakatane guy. It initially had a typo in it. There was an apostrophe in a wrong place. They had to go back and put it in. The third one was in September this year. I got contacted by a guy who had my face, and this is an effing tattoo on his leg. And it turned out he did it himself. And no, he was not a tattoo artist. He was self-taught and it was self-done. It was pretty good. Anyway, that brings me to today's 4th tattoo, what makes this one different though, is that this is actually an authorised tattoo. I've authorised it. It's been done by Invercargill tattoo artist Abby Manson, one of New Zealand's best tattooists. She got in touch when she heard I was coming down and wanted to run a fundraiser, what is called a flash day, while I was there. Now, a flash day is an important part of tattoo culture where tattoo artists offer simple flash tattoos for a low rate. One of the simple tattoos that she offered was a simple caricature that we use of me here on TFN, the face that you all see on stuff. Now, the way it works is that anyone who buys a ticket to my show in Invercargill using a code gets a free flash tattoo from Abby. It was pretty quickly taken up by old mate Jason, and he ended up getting it done today. I'll see him when I'm in Whakaari on Tuesday next week, November the 19th, and we will add my signature tattooed to the bottom. Abby will tattoo it though. Now, why the hell has this happened? Well, for every tattoo done on the day of the Flash Day, Abby will be making a donation to a very important cause, the Southland Charity Hospital. This was set up by Missy Vining after the death of her husband, Blair Vining. Now, I never thought I would be involved in an authorised tattoo, but I care deeply about cancer care in our regions, and if this raises more awareness, so be it. A fully authorised tattoo. And Abby's offer stands. For everyone who buys a ticket from her, they will go in the draw to win a $1,200 full tattoo. Just please, please promise you won't get one of me. Now, as for that tour, it starts in Wellington on Thursday. We'll be going down to Stewart Island and back up to Waitangi. It's going to bring yarns, laughs, positivity, and I want to meet you. Find out where I'll be, get some mates, come to the show. Just go to paddygower.co.nz for tickets. Okay, now it's time for today's Good Kiwi. Okay, when someone dobbed in today's Good Kiwis, I had to hear more. Now, these women have bought something really unusual to one of New Zealand's biggest companies. But what they're doing actually shouldn't be that unusual. Rebecca Staples and Jo Chan are from Fletcher Construction, and they've managed to convince that massive company to provide free period products for all the women in the company. First of all, Jo, why was this so important?
Well, as you know, construction is quite a male-dominated industry. One of the things that people struggle with is their periods on site. Especially like we have sites that we might only be there for a day, a week, like a very short amount of time. So the only option we have then is a portaloo with hand sanitizer, and managing your periods on those kinds of sites.
It's not great.
It's not great.
It's not ideal.
Right, that is not ideal.
No.
Speaking to someone who obviously doesn't know, that is
Yeah.
not good.
No.
No.
Like no running water is not great for that kind of thing.
Yeah, so what is the solution to this then?
So as people who use the reusable products already, there's a little bit of sort of, I guess, background knowledge that you get a lot longer wear out of a reusable period product out of it compared to a disposable pads and tampons. So the Hello period products, for example, hold around 5 times the amount of disposable pads and tampons. So what that means is for most women, you get a full day's wear out of one of these products, which essentially eliminates the need to be doing anything with them during the course of your workday. So whether you have a portaloo or whatever your work situation is, you don't have to stress about having to deal with that during the day.
So you have got your company to bring these in.
So that's exactly what we've done. So what we've got is
undies?
Yeah, so this is Hello underwear. We've got Hello Disc, Hello Cup and Hello Pads. So Hello Period run this Bloody Good Workplace program. We got in touch with them and have been working closely with them this year to get Fletcher Construction to fund all of the women in our business across New Zealand and the Pacific to, so basically Fletcher Construction provides these product options to all of those women.
And how important is this, you two? How important is what you're doing for your workplace and for women?
I think it's really important for just period awareness in general, and also making sure that people can be comfortable on site. Like we've found also like our male allies just being very supportive and on the board on this as well, because I think there isn't much transparency on like what women are going through on site. So it's been nice to highlight that, you know, we do also need these sorts of products as well as toilet paper and those other things.
Yeah, everything else that we're providing.
So was it a hard sell for the bosses?
No.
Not at all. I think it definitely picked up momentum really quickly. It started off as being a site-based initiative, and once we started talking about it and understood the dollars behind it, it was a really easy sell. Partly, I don't know how much of it was because it was just a really obvious, easy solution for the cost, or how much of it was just the men in the room just being a bit like, I don't need to hear any more detail about, we put together a nice detailed presentation about...
But sort of like you open up the presentation, they're like, just have it.
Yeah. A little bit. Yeah. We didn't have to finish the PowerPoint. Let's just say that. So, So it was really, but it was all. That's also a really positive thing for us that we knew that we had the support of the senior leaders in the business. Yeah. So it's been really reassuring for us that we've had that support.
And are any of the men complaining that they're not getting free stuff? You know how us guys complain.
Not at all. No, absolutely not. If anything, I think there's been a lot of them who've been looking into stuff for their daughters and that sort of stuff. So they've been on the learning journey with us as well.
And feedback from women in the workplace?
It's been really positive. So far, we've had over 200 employees sign up for the program.
Wow.
And
it's around 40%
yeah,
of
so
our
40%.
female workforce so far, and it's only been rolled out about a month ago. So really good uptake so far.
You're good Kiwis. Well done. Thank you for creating a bloody good workplace.
Oh, thanks.
Thanks for having us.
We've been trying.
You've done well. All right, it's brainy Kiwi time. Now, this is one of the best ideas that I have ever heard of for about 6 reasons. Think about how many of the things we buy are mostly just made of water, wrapped in plastic, and how much we end up paying for stuff that is mostly water in plastic. That's all I'm telling you right now. You'll have to find out more as we go. Now, here with me in the TFN studio is Brianne West, whose company is called Incredibles. Now, as always, Brianne, you've got 3 minutes to answer 4 brainy Kiwi questions. Now, I still don't know why it wasn't 4 and 4 minutes, because 3 and 4 minutes just seems weird, and people have been emailing saying I'm overcomplicating things, but it's my show, so I do it my way, 3 and 4. Now, what problem does your product solve, Brianne?
Oh God, there's no time at all. Plastic waste, firstly in the drinks industry, because the drinks industry is actually the largest single-use plastic producer in the world, followed by plastic waste in the pharmaceutical, supplements, so on and so forth.
There's plastic everywhere.
There is plastic everywhere.
Being wasted everywhere.
Yep.
So how does your product solve it?
So we produce concentrated balls of drink concentrate, if you like. So you will drop a bunch of Incredibles in a glass of water and you have a glass of cola or Coke instead of buying a can or a plastic bottle of Coke. So that's what I mean about starting in the drinks industry. But we have tech in our tablets. That means you can package them in home compostable packaging as opposed to plastic or aluminium. So they're like an effervescent tablet. So a Barocca, right, has to be packaged in plastic because it reacts with the environment. So we have clever tech that means you can pop them in paper. So we can do away with all of that plastic waste. Starting in the drinks industry, moving through to supplements, and then eventually pharmaceuticals.
Whoa, so you could like drop an incredible of cola into something and have the drink.
Yep.
That's incredible.
Just like a real one.
Yes, because you've done this all before with Etique, haven't you? The company Etique. I've got the pronunciation
You
right?
have, yep.
Yeah, you've done this all before. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I started a cosmetics company in my kitchen about 12 years ago. It grew to 14 countries, 8,000 retailers. It was all about ridding the world of plastic bottles by, instead of producing like a liquid shampoo and conditioner, it was bar form, which again is a really obvious solution to the plastic problem. So everything you'd want in a liquid shampoo, but with none of the water.
So you know what you're doing.
Theoretically, it doesn't mean it's going to be a success, but
the answer there was you meant to say yes.
I like to have my caveat in here.
Now, how far have you got with this?
We're launching in March. It has been about 2 years of R&D, and it has been a nightmare. Actually, it's 2 years of real serious R&D. It's been about 7 years prior to that. But we have got the packaging sorted, the logo. I've been talking to people on social media about it. So March, I'm very excited.
In March, it'll be out there. You can drop a ball into something.
Yep.
Now, our 4th question in 3 minutes. That's how I think it goes. How big could this get?
Oh.
How big?
I want it to be $1 billion industry, or $1 billion company, rather.
$1 billion company?
It was a $100 million company. I want this to be $1 billion company.
How will it get to that big?
Well, it's a similar playbook to what we did with the teak, right? So we will first go out to those people who care about the environment first and foremost, but want a really good drink, and then we'll expand into mass. We will expand into different countries. We're starting in Australia, the USA, and New Zealand, and then we'll go from there.
And if you're not shipping water around the country, just sort of thinking on my feet, if you're not shipping water around the country, that's going to save a lot of money for everybody.
A lot of money, a lot of carbon emissions. It makes all the sense in the world. In one pallet of Incredibles, you can get 3 containers worth of the equivalent liquid drink. Makes all the sense.
Pretty good. Thank you very much, Brianne. You are definitely a brainy Kiwi.
Thank you.
You liked being called that, didn't you? A lot.
Well, compliments are great.
And if you know of a brainy Kiwi who is solving either the big problems or even the small problems of the world, email me, paddy@tfn.co.nz. That's TFN for another week. Don't forget I'm on tour all over New Zealand doing live shows in November and December. And next week's TFN podcast and show won't be from the studio. It's going to be a Raki Ora Stewart Island special. I'll be on the island bringing you good Kiwis and great Kiwis from the deepest of the South. Get tickets and come see me live. I'm going to bring some positivity to an issue in your town. I'm going to celebrate a good Kiwi on stage and spin some ripping yarns. Get tickets at paddygower.co.nz. See you next week.